everybody? I'm your boy, Jake Bennett, the man. We got over here Matt right here in the middle, GB on the side. You are listening or watching Rebooked Podcast. Welcome aboard. You've already made one great decision today by joining us. But today, on this particular bonus episode, we are ranking what we feel are the most important titles in all elite wrestling.
Oh yeah,
GB, why don't you show the board here?
Yep. All right. So here we go. Let me go ahead and pull this up. So
there's a lot, folks.
There
Spoiler alert.
So we can ignore everything here at the bottom. If you see my mouse scrolling across, you can ignore all of these because for some reason I have every iteration of the TNT title in this tier list thing. So I should have probably moved it. Who cares? I have taken the liberty of placing all of the titles in the low tier, and then we will move them up accordingly. We have the AEW title, obviously, the big title for the men's division. We have the AEW women's title, which is the big title for the women's division. But we also have the Ring of Honor women's title, as well as, actually, you should probably bring this down over there real fast. Wait a second. We have the Ring of Honor women's title, the Ring of Honor men's title, which is right here. We also have the Ring of Honor TV title. We have all the Ring of Honor titles. We also have TNT, TBS, the Continental, and the International, which I like to call the International Continental title, which if you combine them together, you get the Intercontinental
at a Holiday Inn.
Or one hell of a breakfast at a Motel 6. Yeah. And we also have the Trios titles. The only belt that we did not add here is the Ring of Honor Trios titles because honestly, and I mean this with respect, they're a touch redundant, and I'm assuming that they are going to be merging them eventually because that is where the story with the Acclaimed and Bullet Club Gold, a.k.a. the Bang Bang Scissor Gang that has dissolved, is clearly going to be going toward. So let us begin. And I would say, how do we want to approach this? Do we want to approach it as what is the most important belt in the company right now? Or do we want to judge it on what do we perceive to be the most important belts in the company overall? Because that's important.
It is. I think we're kind of, it's different, but they're kind of not far off as far as
I would imagine it's really not far off, but I think it just depends on, like, for some of the mid-card titles of like what is important right now versus what isn't important. But let's get into it. So the first one, I think we're just going to start this one right out of the gate. Top tier. We're just going to take the AEW title and just put it at the top.
Whoa.
What?
No, wait. Hold on. I'm kidding. Sorry. I'm kidding.
Yo, you're gonna have me cooked. I was like, "There's no shot that we're gonna say."
I can make up a fake spicy take about how it's mid tier.
Really?
No, I can't.
It's hard to because
not with Joe holding that thing.
Not with Joe holding exactly, man. He's so awesome. But also, I feel like in this podcast we just gush about Samoa Joe pretty much every week. But you know what?
So there will be people out there who I think there's a lot of big MJF stans who feel like it hasn't been important since he lost the title. Like, it's not as grabby, it's not as ratings grabby, it's not as interesting as when he. That's a spicy take. If anything, like why it might move down to important-ish for some people. I'm with you guys. I don't agree. I think it's in a good spot. I think they've done some really good stuff with it. And this is our list, not yours, Marks. So shut up.
Shut up. Okay, so let's not go down the list. Let's just go ahead and pick a belt, and then we can argue about it. Okay.
Sure.
Let's do here the tag titles. Where do we feel the tag titles
And let's keep in mind
belong?
our audio listeners. Let's just be very clear where everything goes, just so in case people are not watching on video and don't see this the list in front of them. We have for sure put the AEW World Title in the tier of importance.
Okay,
that's top tier for those who don't speak Carney.
Okay. Then the top tier. Okay, so yes, AEW title is in the top tier, and now we're doing the tag titles. Where do we feel these go?
I mean,
important-ish. I think they're important-ish.
Yeah, I mean, considering they just got, Sting retired with them as that champion, and now we're getting a pretty highlighted tournament for them. I think, a while back, I think before Sting and Darby won them, they would have been kind of mid-tier. I would think they're important-ish now.
Okay.
I don't think they're the top of the hill, but I think they're more important than your average bear title.
I have thoughts and opinions. So, while, yes, I do agree that Sting and Darby holding the titles would make them more important, I feel like right now, kind of mid-tier.
They're kind of mid-tier.
Only because...
why? Just because they're vacant, or what?
Well, no, not because of vacant, even though it's good to see vacant back in the lineup again. Because, all right, so before Sting and Darby held the titles, it was Big Bill and Ricky Starks. And I'm a Ricky Starks fanboy, but honestly, they did nothing with those belts. It was kind of disappointing, honestly, because I was excited to see what could happen with Ricky and Big Bill.
Yeah, I like both those guys, but creatively, it was just very...
It was so flat.
Jane.
They had nothing. Yep. And then even before that, who held the tag titles before that? Oh, my goodness. We're probably going to have to go through have to find who held the belts prior.
But the fact that you're even asking that
question.
Yeah, I think it was the Young Bucks, though. It's just because I'm not sure if it was the Young Bucks or not. But yeah, I'm actually going to look this up right now because I completely forgot. Yeah, but you're right. Just because I have to ask this question kind of, indicates that this definitely does feel like you're kind of shooting in the dark over here. It
was FTR.
It was FTR. Yeah, and
they held him for they held him for a long time too.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, that's right. That's when they were kind of doing their own belt collector bit because they had tag titles from 4 different places or some shit for a while. Right?
For a minute during that.
Yeah. Okay. So I say mid tier. Matt says important-ish. Jake, you're the tiebreaker. Where do you think the tag titles should go?
Well, as I usually do, I stand on the right side of history, and I think that I think that they're important-ish, and I think that they're important-ish because of what Sting and Darby did with them, but it is very much teetering on that because I don't know where they're going to go with them, and if they're just another prop title, if that's kind of what it becomes for some people, then I can very easily see that dropping to mid tier. Yeah, but I will say
it's on the precipice, but I think we're there.
It's borderline, but they're still tag titles, and we love tag team wrestling, so I support it. I support it.
Yeah, I think the tournament will bring some nice focus to them, but I think
I don't like the tournament as it is right now. If I'm being honest with you. I was very disappointed. I felt like why is Bullet Club or not? Why is BCC not in there? Why is
there are some strange omissions. That's for sure.
Because you literally just had this feud that was we want to be the best, and then Blackpool Combat Club beats FTR, and then Lance Archer beats Claudio.
Is FTR in it?
FTR is in it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
FTR is on the other side of the bracket.
I couldn't remember.
Now, what is exciting, though, is that FTR will, I believe as of the recording of this.
House of Black. They might end up with House of Black.
No. They're actually going to fight the infantry. They're going to fight the infantry.
No, I know, but I'm saying if they get past the first round, my guess is that they're going to have a match with, right?
House of Black and the infantry were in the wild card.
Yep.
And infantry beat House of Black because of shenanigans. Yep. But it was awesome because it's good to see the infantry get that opportunity. They're going to have a good matchup against FTR, but ultimately they're going to lose. And we're going to end up seeing Young Bucks and FTR. Anyway, that's a different thing altogether. But important-ish, we're fine. Now, the reason why I wanted to make this video was for these 3 titles. The Continental, the International, and the TNT. Those are we're gonna pick one and let's start with it, and then we'll kind of layer these throughout the episode. I say let's start with the first one. The first one introduced of the mid-card titles, the TNT Championship. It's their TV title. It's been held by a lot of amazing people, including, the legendary Brody Lee. So how do we feel about the TNT Championship, who currently is being held by Christian Cage?
Yeah.
I'll go out and say, they've always done a pretty good job, I think, of not flip-flopping that one a whole lot, not making a lot of very seemingly rash decisions with it. Like I said, it's one of, I think, is that the only, did Cody held that, right?
Cody held that one.
Was it the only title he ever held?
Yeah. It was the only one.
And so like that, and you mentioned Brody, Christian has had a very long and we've talked about it before, doing some of his best work with this whole father patriarchy thing. He's fantastic. So I feel like overall, they've always done a pretty careful job with that one. Even though sometimes these feuds have been kind of falling out of the limelight, I feel like that still stays in the important-ish category. For me, again, we haven't decided yet. I'll let you guys weigh in, but that's that's where I'm at. I might be different on the other ones as we mentioned, but yeah.
Okay, Jake,
it's mid.
Okay,
it's mid, and the only reason for me it's not low tiers because Christian has it. I otherwise don't give a shit about the TNT title. I mean, Christian's done some great stuff with it. I
could have done with any
they've
belt,
been
though.
Smart. Well, but I think it was smart putting that belt on him because if they're trying to make it more legitimate and they're trying to raise its prestige, then putting it on Christian and letting him hold it for a while, I think is a good move.
But do you feel here? I'll have a question, especially so right now and for the past several months. It's been building to this Christian Edge and Christian stuff, right? Or Christian Adam stuff, which I feel like didn't need the title.
It does.
So and I feel like the title, while it's there, is an afterthought.
Correct.
So I can kind of see where you're coming from.
That's why I think it's mid. Yeah. That's me personally.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, GB.
But I'll tell you this. My ranking of these is probably not what most people think it's going to be.
Sure. That's fair. That's fair. That's fair. I love this. That's what the whole point of this. Okay. It's just in the interest of time. I feel like the belt has been held by some amazing people, but despite the fact that Christian Cage is holding it, I don't feel like it is enough. I feel like he could have done it with any belt, and it would have been perfectly fine. I don't know why, but I feel like the TNT title is it's very much lost its luster. It was also very weird when Adam Copeland was like, "Oh, I want to win that TNT title." I'm like, "Really? Like you want that belt?" Like, I mean, I get it. I guess because it's like Brody held the belt and Cody held the belt and Darby held the belt, and it was important when Darby had it. But I'm gonna go mid tier. I'm going mid.
Okay, I can vibe with that.
Yeah, but again, these three are going to be all over the place. So we'll see what happens and how we feel. But let's move on though to Ring of Honor. So now, actually, I think what I'm going to do here is I'm going to just save us some headaches, so that this way we can have the belt. I was like, I figure I could have everything on the side, but no, let's just do this the right way, because I have a feeling we know where this is going. Ring of Honor. Let's do the Ring of Honor television title.
Low.
Yeah. Let's see here. Which you want to know what's so bad?
We can speed run all of these.
I don't even know which one is the Ring of Honor TV title. But when in the images that I have picked.
Actually, you maybe could have just left it.
You could have
left them where they were.
But
it's not even.
But to keep going, Ring of Honor though, pure.
Low.
I disagree.
That's fine.
Yeah, I disagree. I think Ring of Honor pure has seen better matches on AEW TV than a lot of the other belts. and it's got a different format, which I like. I like belts with different formats. This one does. If the pure championship, you can't have any interferences. You have like a certain amount of rope breaks, I believe it is. There's like a lot. There's just rules to it, and I like that there's a division with rules.
That's fair, yeah.
But Matt, what do you think?
I think me and Jake are on a similar page here.
You freaking bastards!
Dude, no, because
I love it.
We're not talking about banger matches. We're talking about importance in the zeitgeist of AEW as a company.
But the pure title has main evented more AEW shows than any other belt in Ring of Honor. I could be capping, but honestly,
who's the champ? Wheeler is still the champion? I don't remember the last time I saw him.
Actually, now, look, it's going to stay in low because I don't know who the champion is for the Ring of Honor.
It says, according to the list I'm seeing, it's Wheeler Yuta, but I don't remember the last time I saw him.
Yeah, I don't remember that either. But that's also a product of just Ring of Honor. You know,
it's also tough. A lot of this is tough too because Ring of Honor literally has
has no presence.
Title. Yeah, it's only on Honor Club. You know what I mean? And I mean, they don't even have like a small cable deal, like anything.
The only one that I'm willing to put higher for the let's just get this out of the way. I think we all can. I'm going to do this, right?
I'm on the page. I think most of them are low importance.
And then I'm going to do this. I'm putting the women's title in mid because right now Athena's holding it, and she's actually putting on some incredible matches. And to me, she legitimizes the belt, but like. I think that's like the one I'll give. That's what I'm willing to do.
Yeah, no, I would go with that. I've heard again, like because of its limited visibility, like I haven't seen a whole lot of like Ring of Honor TV and stuff.
No, I've been watching some of the Honor Club matches whenever Athena wrestles, and they're just banger matches.
She's the only one I'm hearing buzz about.
She is Ring of Honor.
About that. Yeah, right now, yes.
Yeah. So I think that alone makes it. But not enough to put it in important-ish because I would like to see Athena on AEW TV regularly, but that is a me thing. So, okay, so we got all the Ring of Honor belts, which I think makes a lot of sense. Now that moves us over to the FTW Championship.
Low.
Yeah, I can't disagree with that.
I mean, that's a prop title if there ever was.
It's 100% a prop title.
I would really like for them to get rid of the belt, honestly.
Yeah, man. Like I get it. It was brought in almost.
Taz. It's just
It was a fun thing when he was leading a heel faction. Like it was their $1 million belt kind of thing. Ha ha ha. But now that like Hook has it, and Hook's like this kind of hot baby face. It's a weird thing because it doesn't feel like a real title. Yeah. So it's almost like I wish it would just fade away.
And I just don't. I mean, I don't see anybody who's like more than anything in the world. I want that FTW title. Yeah. The fucking X-Play champion title I have over here that I made that never got used on TV because we were all laid off. To me, has as much prestige as the FTW does right now. It meant something in ECW, right. But no one gives a shit that Hook has the FTW title.
Yeah,
it's like you said, it's a prop. And
we got to use that belt, by the way, on the show. The X-Play title. We got to get some. We got to get some value from it somehow.
I got to keep it. That was the value.
I guess so, right? It's like my belt. I have the Big Team Battle Bonanza belt from Halo.
Oh yeah.
And they're like trying to. They really want me to. They've been trying to get the belt off of me for a minute now, and I keep winning. And honestly, they should just fix it, brother. So, all right. Let's move on to the AEW Women's World Championship.
Top tier.
S-tier,
baby.
Especially with Tony holding it right now.
Absolutely. Yes.
They've made it very, very important.
She's been on an incredible run. She's raised, I mean, like, it's incredible to me. She's raised the prestige of a world title, but she has. Mm-hmm. I mean, she's great.
Yeah.
She's
like, I care. I care about everything that happens with Toni Storm. And the moment that they take that belt off of her, I hope to God they have a plan that makes sense. Because she is too good right now. And I would have argued that if we had done this list like a year and a half ago, I probably would have just been like important-ish. You know, like it's important because it's a women's world title, but it's not top tier because it's not really getting a lot of love. There was a point in time where I think the TBS title was like bigger than the women's world championship.
There was a little run there. I remember that. Yeah.
So, you know, now I think we can comfortably say that. So that brings us to the Trios Championship, which should low tier.
Which you remember we are. This is both Ring of Honor 6-man and the AEW.
Yeah, we're just gonna combine them both.
Yeah,
honestly.
Okay. Like I want to say low, but there's too much shit in low. Like they get represented on TV.
That's the problem.
No, I agree. They get represented at least more on TV than a lot of the other ones. Like I mean, people like Jay White and Bullet Club give a little bit of cachet to like the Ring of Honor 6-man version of it. So like I want to say mid tier, but a low mid tier. Again, it's almost on that precipice of low tier. But at least they're seen on TV, and then the stuff with the Acclaimed and all that stuff might give it a little bit of like interest going forward. So I think it's mid tier, but low mid tier.
Okay, Jake, you're saying low.
I can get behind a low mid tier.
It's hard. It's precipice. It is.
Well, low mid tier isn't an option. Okay, I don't know if you can see. There's only 4 choices. There's 4 choices, boys.
This is all just words and opinions, GB. This is all our own world. This is our own mystical universe here.
Well,
we can do whatever we want.
What say you?
Yeah,
GB?
what do you say? How do you feel?
Okay, so, I think that the Trios titles are low tier.
I
think
can
they're low
easily
tier.
get behind that.
I think they have been low tier since they have been introduced.
Yeah.
They were introduced as a way to just honestly put a belt on Kenny and the Bucks. Then Brawl Out happened. Then that went away. Then they were freaking Death Triangle had them for like 23 hours, and then it was taken off of them. So I feel like with the belt, it's been nice to have the Acclaimed and have Bullet Club Gold, like have gold around their waist, but it was always weird. Obviously, it was all part of the story, but it was always weird when like all of them would just be hanging out holding their belts, and I'm like, sick. Are you like fighting anyone for that?
Yeah, like that's my problem with so many of the titles. Is
like
that they're
who's
just props?
But again, it's because this story is clearly going in the direction of a merger. Mm-hmm. So I can agree with that. But I think if we do this list a year from now, I would say maybe it goes mid. But right now, for me, it's low tier. What about? So you guys want to go mid or low?
I say low.
I can stick with low. That's
low.
fine.
Okay. But if Bullet Club Gold does merge those titles, and I really think they can go on a really fun run with it and have great matches, but we'll see.
I can see that.
We'll see. Okay, next up, let's do another one of the 3 mid-card titles, shall we? Let's do the latest belt introduced to the rotation, the Continental Championship, which, by the way, is not called the Continental Crown, because they were kind of confusing us with that for a while. No, it's the Continental Championship. I have thoughts on this, but Jake, I want you to go first. Currently held by Eddie Kingston.
Yeah, I'm going to say mid, and the reason it's mid is because the only reason I don't have it in low is because Eddie has it.
Well, yeah.
I mean, I'd put it in mid. He's also got. I mean, I want to hear what you two have to say about it, but right now
I'll go
it just
first.
It feels like a mid.
Yeah, GB, you go.
I'll go first to see if I can sway. I'm gonna say it's important-ish, and here's why. And I know it's gonna sound a little weird, but who is currently feuding for that belt right now? and who could very well hold that belt in the next few weeks. Maybe even, I think they're actually going to have a match for it on Collision on Saturday. Okada. And
Yeah, but the list
I think they're
isn't
trying to position
what
this belt as
could-
the Saturday belt, basically. The Collision
Maybe,
belt.
but this list isn't what could. How important could these be?
bitch.
It's how important are they?
So, all right, I'll piggyback off that.
Damn you, Bennett.
To be fair, and I will back up GB on this and say important-ish, because here's the thing: they made a pretty big deal out of the Continental Crown tournament. They put a lot of heavy hitters. No, they did, and then
Big ass storylines came out of that. Big ass storylines.
Yep, and by Eddie winning it, they put in a lot of faith in him. They kind of made it a big deal of then. The big Daniel Bryan thing he just did with it was pretty important, and the fact that they have the debuting Okada, I think there's a lot of spotlight been on it since it happened. Do I think Eddie Kingston has too many belts? Yes, I think the New Japan Strong belt doesn't exist anymore, so I think they should just get rid of it. Same with, I don't know how you can get rid of the Ring of Honor.
He has the Ring of Honor.
Ring of Honor World title.
Oh.
And the New Japan Strong title. New Japan Strong doesn't exist anymore. And then he's the Continental Champion. So he's got those 3 belts running around. I don't know if you need to ditch the Strong title. I think if you could quickly get the Ring of Honor World title off him, I think it could just be the Continental. That whole situation is very confusing and just too much.
Yeah.
But I think they've given it enough of a spotlight. The tournament was a big deal. It's a new title. So I still think in there right now, again, maybe it fades if Okada wins it or if he doesn't. But I think when they have a big debuting guy going after it and it's been in the spotlight, I'm behind important-ish for the moment.
Okay, important.
How many times has he defended that title?
Not enough, for sure. Not enough.
Not enough. Yeah,
No doubt about that.
He's been in a lot of tag matches.
Besides
that's why.
Danielson. Well, but that's right.
Well, he did just get the belt.
I know. Well, 2.5 months ago.
Yeah,
but that's not a crazy. Again, I would have liked to at least see.
But I want more defenses. If it's that important, defend it more.
I do agree with that.
That's how I feel.
Yeah, I actually don't know how many times Eddie did defend that belt, because I know he did on an episode of Collision at least once. I think, and then it was also the pay-per-view. I'm trying to think. What was the? I'm actually trying to find.
He may have defended it at like a New Japan event too. I feel like I might have seen that. But a lot of companies will just do that. Like if you're a champion, like, oh, I'm going to book you for my indie, and we'll say it's for the TNA World Title. But of course, they're never going to lose it at another company's event.
Yeah.
So that may have happened, right. But I don't know. I still think with the way I think it's important-ish.
I think important-ish is a good position for that to be in. We'll see, though. We'll see. But and especially if Okada gets it. Oh boy, that would be fun. Okay, we only have 2 more belts remaining. I know there are more here, but they're not. We have the last 2. We got the TBS Championship and we have the International Championship. Let's start with the TBS. So now, given that Julia Hart has held the belt, we just talked about it, on Wednesday's episode of Rebooked, that we did feel as if Julia Hart is just holding a title, but she's been great, but the title has been like cool, but it hasn't really felt like that impactful. But Mercedes Moné now is going to be going for that title. So we think. Where does this fit currently? Matt?
Yeah. This is a tough one.
This is a toughie.
Because
these last 2 belts were the ones that I was like, I want to make this video for this.
Yeah, because, look, I was not the hugest Jade Cargill fan as a wrestling fan kind of thing, but they did a great job of presenting her like a star and putting her in positions to succeed, and that belt was felt really important.
That belt was more important than the women's title at one point in time.
Because of her. And because of the way they presented her. So then she lost it to Statlander, right?
Yeah.
And we kind of never saw it felt like it disappeared for a minute. Yeah. And then Julia Hart went it. Great to see that evolution from her. But I think it's one of those things where I think I would have said for sure mid-tier, but does Mercedes make it important-ish? I could be swayed either way, so I'm going to listen to you boys before I make a decision. But I'm teetering between mid and important-ish.
Okay, Jake.
No, you go, GB. I want to hear what you have to say.
I think that the TBS title is mid right now. Okay. Because the belt, like, yes, Julia Hart has held the belt. She's had some pretty decent matches. But again, the belt just legitimized the character of Julia Hart. But that's it. Like, now that she is who she is, like, she really, like, the belt's kind of just there. I'm saying mid right now, but I would like to see this change in the future. And I think that there is a possibility we could be saying like this is an important-ish title, especially if Mercedes Moné is holding it, you know, at some point this year.
Yeah.
But right now, I'm going with mid. But I don't disagree with you, and I'm curious to see what Jake's got to say because we're going two different directions. And Jake tends to go lower, I notice. He tends to skew low. I think it was up to Jake, everything besides the Samoa Joe. And actually, no, it's right. Everything is below it. I love it.
Mid. It is mid.
Mid.
Like, it's another thing of like, like you said, it's legitimizing the character of Julia Hart. Other than that, like, I just don't. I mean, we've talked about it before. I even said it earlier. There's too many titles in AEW.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we're looking at them.
You're more unique if you don't have a fucking title at this point. Like, it's.
Yeah.
They're just like, I can't stand that when it's just a prop. And like, just like it just feels like they don't know what they want to do with the TBS title. It feels like that with a lot of them. But yeah, I just think I think it's mid.
Mid? All right.
I think it's mid.
So
yeah,
2-1. Mid it is. Now the last one. And this could get spicy. So I'm going to go last. Okay? I'm going to go last.
I don't know what's spicy about this. Other than if you put it, you'd have to put it in top tier for it to be spicy. Because how is it anything above mid?
Yeah, it's mid.
I mean, at the back, if you say important-ish, I could maybe be like, I get. But if you say top tier, I'm going to punch you through my camera.
So here's my thing.
No,
here's my thing.
No,
all right.
No.
Here's my thing. Now, while I understand that the belt has had a very rocky past, let's think about the people who have held this title.
A belt that shouldn't exist.
What do you mean?
It doesn't have. It's another one that was just like, let's give something for like this. What does it mean? And
Pac held it.
I know, great people. Look, AEW.
John Moxley held it.
Incredible talent. That's not. Nobody's arguing that.
But what I'm trying to say is that that match, Orange Cassidy, Roderick Strong, when Roderick Strong won, it felt like, holy shit, like, that was awesome. Like, it was a big deal. Because, like, Roderick Strong got a singles title in AEW, which is freaking awesome. But also, the story was, like, he was defending it every single week. It was the most visible belt in the company at one point. Every week, Orange Cassidy was having a match for it. Banger matches, and he was just desperately trying to win. He had a story. The first story was him just pushing himself to the limit so that he could, be like the champion that he wants to be. Then John Moxley brutalizes him, beats him up, and they put the belt on Moxley. Moxley held the belt. One of the greatest AEW World Title champions of all time. One of the greatest champions of all time, just across any promotion, held that belt. So I think at the very, I wouldn't say least, I think I would be willing to put it in top tier just because of the people who've held it and the fact that it was the most visible belt on the product for weeks on end weeks on end. I don't know. That's yes, it could be Cap. It could be I could be just trolling, but I just, all right, Jake, go for it. Sorry. I was going on a diatribe there.
I would like to make a counterpoint.
I know you are, you sick son of a bitch. Go for it.
I want you to tell me what the following people have in common. Okay? Pat Patterson, Gerald Briscoe, the $1 Million Man, R-Truth. You've got, let's see, who else? Mojo Rawley, Rob Gronkowski, Shelton Benjamin, Cedric Alexander. These are all big names. You know what they have in common? The 24/7 championship. Are you telling me that because big name people held the title doesn't always mean the title's worth a shit?
Big name people in big matches. It wasn't, okay, I get it, but you're really going to compare the 24/7 title, a thing that was brought back because they couldn't bring back the hardcore title because Lord knows they were never going to do that again. They bring this belt back, and you're going to compare it to the international title after what we've seen week after week after week of incredible matches, courtesy of Orange Cassidy, courtesy of, he was taking it internationally when it was called what was it called in the beginning? I don't remember. What was the name of the belt at the beginning?
It wasn't was it the the Atlantic?
The Atlantic, the All Atlantic, All Atlantic. Yeah, that wasn't a great name. Yes,
I'm just saying. Doug Flutie held the 24/7 championship. He's an NFL Hall of Famer. I'm just.
So all right.
You wanted this to get spicy.
Yeah.
So I'm throwing some more spice on it.
That's spice. That's throwing some friggin' extra hot sauce on the hot dog or whatever.
Yeah.
But all right, the truth is in the middle. I get what you're saying. That is not a fair comparison. GB is right. That is not a fair comparison.
Thank you.
However,
confrontational.
However, I'm gonna toe the middle line here. Mm-hmm. To his point, though, much like the point we've made about the TNT title, the lineage doesn't make it important. We kind of said we're talking about as it is, as it stands in the world right now, and I think there's no shot in hell it's top tier. I think you're right. I think I think Orange Cassidy making it, the visibility is a very good point. He was out there defending it a lot. It was one of the more visible titles on the show. I don't care that Moxley held it 8 months ago or whatever, or a year ago, whatever it was.
Well, he got injured, so that was a different thing. But
I don't care. I mean, MJF could have held it. Samoa Joe could have held it. I don't care. We're talking about it right now, the last few months as it stands today. I think it's one of their better, more visible mid-card titles. I don't think it's top tier by any mean. I think at best you could argue that it's important-ish.
Okay.
Because of Orange Cassidy's defending it a lot and making it so visible.
Here's the good news. I was okay with that the whole time. I always wanted it to be important.
You debated us.
Because I knew that if we had released this graphic with the international title in the top tier, our legitimacy as a program would just be through the garbage. But I knew that I could see the international title as important-ish. That'll get us some clicks. No, but honestly, I do believe that it is important-ish, and it is mid-tier in that it's still like a belt that, it's in a crowded field of belts, so it's very hard to see that kind of leapfrog over everything else. But I do feel like just pure visibility alone, it is the most, just the belts all over the place. So
I'm just saying the 24/7 championship was incredibly visible on every program, defended all the time. You're going to take that away from the gobbledygooker? He won that at Survivor Series. Thank you very much. We're just going to poo-poo the 24/7 title.
Valid.
Come on.
Oh, dude. Okay, we got to do this for the WWE belts next week. I think we got to do it with the belts next week, just for the
Run
shits
it
and
back.
the gigs. I mean, I don't want to run it back, but I think we're gonna have to, man. Just because now, Jake, you understand that you have latched your name and your credibility to the 24/7
To the 24/7 title.
That's true.
Hey,
Own that shit.
Hey, GB. It also has its own set of rules. So
How unique.
how unique and special is that? A title with its own rules attached to it.
I hate Jake. You are the antagonist to my protagonist. It is, or it's the other way around. Honestly, I could be the antagonist because I'm the one that's advocating for a mid-card belt.
I just enjoy being a contrarian when it comes to debate. The devil's advocate, if you will. Emphasis on the devil. Anyway,
I get it. Also, fun movie with Al Pacino.
Pop
Worth
the title
watch,
up in that.
You know,
pop that
kind of
title
weird
up
though.
in the, up
Still
in the
worth
tier
the
there.
watch.
Put that title where it goes.
Yep.
Put that.
Yep.
You jackass. Fine. Fine. I'll allow it. But that's the end.
I mean, I just feel like it. Okay, wait a minute. Before we end, are we satisfied? Are we willing to, as a group, moving things around up and down? Because now it's like, I'm just curious.
I think I'm good with that. I can stand with that.
I'll allow it.
You can stand. You'll allow it. You'll allow it.
How generous, Jake.
Yeah.
So
but
kind.
unfortunately, that's gonna bring us to a close.
Yeah. Oh wait, real quick. Everyone, give me a thumbs up. I'm gonna screenshot this so that we can put it on Twitter. Okay, go for it. Oh, and before we go, let's list what the belts were in each tier, right? Just
Yes,
so that
good call.
so our
At
listeners
home, you're reminded.
will know. Jake, the floor is yours, my friend.
Well, in the top tier, we have both world titles: AEW men's world title as well as the women's world title. Should the 24/7? No, that's for a different. Important-ish. We have the tag titles. We have the Continental title, and we have the other one. And then mid-tier.
Say its name.
Important is Intercontinental title. Or
Okay.
International title, whatever. I can never remember. Mid-tier, which is my point. Mid-tier is the TNT Championship, the TBS Championship, and the Ring of Honor Women's Championship. And the low tier is everything else. Every other Ring of Honor title, the FTR title, the Trios title.
But I want it to be known that I am willing to put the pure title in mid-tier. Okay? That's the hill I'm willing to die on. But we can worry about that for another episode.
And we will. We'll save it for another episode. Thank you so much for listening or watching, wherever you're listening or watching. You can find us anywhere. Come talk to us on Discord. Follow us on Instagram, on Twitter. Share with us what you think is the most important title out of all.
That's the most important. We want to hear from you. What do you think?
What did we get wrong? And most importantly, what did we get right? Well, maybe we'll talk about it on the next episode, but you're going to have to stay tuned to find out. Thank you so much for myself, for GB, for Matt. God bless.
I like that.
We'll see you next time, folks.